America has the single best tech scene in the world, not the best, not the second best, but like basically the top 10 tech scenes are all America, which you see in market cap, you see in innovation, you see in the people you mentioned. The thing is, my view, Palantir's view, my book's view is not an historical diagnostic of the past. It's only a diagnostic of the past to get people to do things in the present and the future. And the more people in tech, the more builders. Like, what makes America unique is that we have a culture of builders expressed in technology. And the more builders that are helping the US government be stronger and better and superior to all other governments in the world, the better for everyone. And so I very much support all builders, everyone who's done something important, pitching in to make America stronger, better, and the West superior, and America have a dominant position in the world. So I think these things are really, really good, and obviously welcome them. And whether one was there yesterday, maybe we were alone for 15 years, and that's okay. We're not alone now.
Yeah, they're all there now. And there's been a shift in the posture of foreign policy under President Trump when it comes to talking tough. The things that you talk about, what makes America strong in destroying our enemies. Have you been supportive?
I'm super supportive of my version of he's acting tough, and that's why, look at the hostages. All of a sudden we have all these hostages who are free. Some of them are Americans. And look, our adversaries need to know that as I've been saying for 15, 20 years, it's like, if they're not afraid of us, there's literally no way they're going to act rationally. In fact, they are acting rationally. If they're not afraid of us, why shouldn't they just represent their own interests, is what they do. So but there are really two ways America can be strong vis-a-vis our adversaries. One is put the fear of like death into our adversaries at any random moment, which I think is happening for the first time in a long time. And two, get the economy to be super strong. And if you look, like I spent half my life in Europe, look at the difference between what's going on in Europe and what's going on here. Europe is like culturally similar, should have similar ability to produce technology, to produce builders, to produce innovation, and like the delta between what's happening in America and similarly situated societies is just enormous and compounding. And obviously, I would like our allies to do better, but for now we just have to focus on America, and Palantir's thriving.
What about the gap between America and China? You said that the U.S. has the dominant tech scene 1, 2, and 3. We think that, we thought that, and then we get a development like DeepSeek.
Well, it's like, first of all the facts aren't available, but what I think you're going to find is it's much easier than people want to believe to be the second mover, because you can train on our models and do things we've already done. And that's a danger for America. Like, we're the first mover, we're the first builder, we build these things. Only we could have built like a large language model culture. Only we have built a software culture at scale. Only we have built a lot of the technologies in the world that are disseminated. Some are good, some are not. That's another thing in the book. Like, technology is not inherently good. It's good in maybe our hands. Same technology is not good in the hands of our adversaries. We have to acknowledge that. But that just means we have to run harder, run faster, have an all-of-country effort. I think you're going to see that, and certainly the tech community has woken up to the fact that second mover can move very, very quickly, especially if we've already done the innovation, and the innovation and the copying of the innovation is something different. One of the things, though, we've seen at Palantir, just as a much less important example, is everybody made fun of us, everyone derided our kind of anti-woke, pro-meritocracy, build software that was actually valuable for an enterprise, do a DPO instead of IPO so that individual investors can make money, full alignment. Now a lot of people want to copy us, but copying is not actually as easy as it looks. If you stick to your internal dynamics of how to build, what you're building, a culture of execution, it is harder to copy than people think. It's still possible. It's easier than you'd like it. And that's basically the situation that I see that we're in America. We have the lead. We have to focus on making sure we keep it. And our adversaries are going to copy anything they can and try and innovate on top of it.
Palantir is currently under a microscope following a roller coaster performance in the stock market. Imagine a year-long surge exceeding 268%, only to be met with a sudden jarring descent of over 16% in just the past 5 days. The cause? A flurry of insider selling that has industry watchers buzzing with speculation. Key figures, including CEO Alexander Karp and President Stephen Cohen, are at the heart of this unfolding story. What could possibly be fueling this sudden insider exodus? And what implications does it hold for investors? Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy.
I was going to say, what are we up against when it comes to China and AI technology?
Well, exactly what you saw. It's like basically a derivative of what we did with improvements at the margin, both in terms of cost and certain innovations. But that just means we have to innovate harder. And of course, I think there's going to be a huge policy discussion on how do we make sure some of our innovations are not actually exported, if only indirectly. And so that, I think what you're going to see in the next couple of years is an acceleration of like how do we protect the innovations that we have done, because only they are innovations that are an outgrowth of our culture, our people, the way we invest, the way we organize, the fact that we believe in the rule of law and meritocracy and have higher beliefs. These are all very unique aspects of America that really currently only America has at scale. Then how do we protect that so that these things are not stolen, manipulated, used against us? I think you're going to see a lot of discussions around that. I'm pretty optimistic around that.
I mean, they're the national security concerns. They're also the big shock on the cost. Does that make sense to you, how they were able to do this for, what, $5 million?
Yeah, I don't really believe those numbers. But in any case, even if the point I'm making is the second mover has certain advantages, but the real advantage is for the first mover as long as the first mover is running hard. So you have to take some of the ideas of how it's built with a great deal of skepticism. But the point I'm making is look internally to how you do these things. The first job, like purely from an innovation perspective, like at Palantir, we really don't focus on quote unquote competition. We focus on how do we execute, how do we make it better, how do we make the products how do we create the most value ever seen in this area that we're in coding.
Can you do it cheaper now?
Well, we can do what we do cheaper and faster because of AI and because we know what we're doing and because we have essentially unlimited capital. But and actually one of our big advantages at Palantir that the tech scene has now is because now when we hire engineers, they actually believe what we're talking about. Like honestly, for like 15 and 16, 17 years, every time I told an engineer this is how you build a product, they were like, well, why should I listen to you? Now occasionally they listen. But again, from a tech building perspective, the most important thing is what am I doing to make my product better, my offering better? Better is defined by more value, cheaper, and arguably faster, where it's really the most value, the fastest way possible, are the two parameters around like the way Palantir is organized internally with complete honesty. Like it's and with a total disregard for how you're supposed to do it. Like there's a certain way you're supposed to build software. There's a certain way you're supposed to build a company. There's a certain way you're supposed to build all sorts of things. It all doesn't matter. You have to build it so that you get the maximum value proposition at years or decades before anyone else could do it at a speed and cost that the customer could never do for themselves.
CEO Alexander Karp made headlines by offloading a jaw-dropping $44 million worth of shares. Not far behind, President Stephen Cohen and CTO Shyam Sankar followed suit, with sales amassing $69 million and $38.4 million, respectively. As investors absorb this news, many question whether these insiders possess foreknowledge about imminent downturns or if these sales are simply part of strategic financial decisions. But before going on with the video, are you into cryptocurrency? If so, check out our second channel, Investocracy Crypto. We bring you breaking news, expert analysis, and the latest trends in the fast-moving world of digital assets. Whether you're a seasoned crypto investor or just curious about the future of finance, we've got something for you. Click the link in the description to subscribe to Investocracy Crypto now. Don't miss out and stay ahead of the game. Now, let's get back to the video.
We should touch Palantir. You and Bryn both own it. This week, it's tried to get a little bit of a bounce. But other names like AppLovin down 20 this week %, Carvana, Constellation, Vista, Vertiv. What's your take here on the Palantirs of the world?
2 weeks ago, I think it was, maybe 3 weeks ago, I was on the show here with you, and I did say I had alerts at 90 and alerts below 80 in Palantir. I think 75 to 80 is the real great sweet spot, and I'm going to use the word love just to see the selling slow here. This is really best in breed. I think this really highlights a time right now where you want to be picking, if you're going to own these volatile names, you want to own the best in the space that they're competing in.
Yes, but you want to make sure you own them at the correct price.
With that said, I mean, my goal as a manager is not to catch every turn in the market, but the names that we've owned has provided us significant outperformance over the last 2 years. So yeah, maybe we're underperforming here in this moment in time, and I think with the market trading below a 200-day moving average and some of the uncertainties that we've all been talking about, there's time to go to the drawing board and say, is there a bigger change that we need to be ready for? And I'm not ready to say that yet, especially like a name like Palantir, again, coming into that sweet spot, and some of the froth is really coming out, but these names are all hitting cash flow to earnings. I mean everything is cash flow multiples. These names are right in the wheelhouse of where you want to see them.
Well,
right in the wheelhouse of where you want to see them. I mean, they're trading.
Yeah.
I don't remember. This thing is trading at a significant multiple to sales.
I think it's like 70 to sales.
Yeah,
Well, not necessarily Palantir. I'm just talking about the broad.
Well, we were
breadth
talking
of it.
about
Yes,
Palantir
sorry about that.
specifically.
I think with
make sure we're all on the same
Palantir, I mean,
page.
we're both shareholders, right? So I think with Palantir, you have the Palantirians that have been long-term, we'll say hodlers of the stock at 6, 7, 8, which is kudos for them because that was all retail, believing about this company. I think there are a lot of investors that bought this stock north of 81.
100%.
And that to me is where how many people are going to hold on. And so I don't have confidence of where this stops because I think so much of the investor base was momentum versus the real owners of Palantir that have been long-term believers. And so I think this is going to be a company to own long-term. I'm still personally unclear where I should step into this name because the chart still looks, the 200-day is at $51.
Yep.
It may not go there, but I think there's a lot of people underwater in this.
Analyzing the stock's performance from a technical standpoint, one can observe that Palantir has dipped below its 8-day and 20-day simple moving averages of $100.31 and $103.05. While this suggests a short-term bearish trend, hope clings to its longer-term bullish momentum, with the stock remaining above its 50-day and 200-day moving averages. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
Finally, Palantir. It's in the news today. It delivered its first 2 AI-enabled Titan trucks to the U.S. Army on time, on budget, just a year after being named the prime contractor, which was an unprecedented move by the military to do that with a software company. It's down this week. We should note the stock is up 11% this year still, but Quint, you say this is still just a hold.
Yeah, thanks for giving me the hold and not the sell. I've been a believer of Carp and Crew for a long time. I've been a shareholder there and still am a shareholder there from much lower from here. But the stock has just unfortunately gotten well ahead of itself. And a lot of people think, on this initial pullback here that we've seen, oh, what a great opportunity to jump in. I think you have to be very careful. If the momentum has come out of this name for the time being, we could see a lot lower prices in this name. It's trading 68 times sales, 120 plus times forward earnings, stellar balance sheet and $4 billion on the balance sheet in cash. But we feel like it's just gotten ahead of itself, and it's got to, you got to let it digest this unbelievable move that it's seen over the last couple of years. So for us, it's a hold. I'd be hard pressed to sell after this decline, but I'm certainly not buying here. There will be a better opportunity, and Palantir is best of breed going forward.
Yeah.
It's going to be a standout stock for a long time, but a very tough buy at this level.
Despite the current turbulence, Palantir Technologies offers a compelling narrative and potential, particularly if its strategic maneuvers can align with broader market developments. The stock's persistent resilience above long-term moving averages suggests an underlying strength and possible headway into bullish grounds once more. But what do you think? Share your thoughts. Finally, if you would like to know what companies like Palantir have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.